Good morning, viewers, audience, listeners. Still working on stuff for the ideas on the channel. Been considering what I'm going to do going forward, like after I finish the Margie Out and Back, which is kind of my point, was to chronicle my journey getting there and thinking about what to do afterwards. And in the meantime, if I just want this to be a record of things, if I actually want it to have a purpose, but thinking a lot about that. But anyway, today I am posting after a hiatus because I finally got my phone fixed. So iFixit.com, pretty cool. Spend a decent amount of time, but I got it fixed. So if you need your iPhone fixed, let me know. Full disclosure, I didn't get the home button to work quite. I don't know. I struggle with that. I did the screen on a different phone a couple of years ago and I had the same issue. It's really difficult to get the home button to transfer. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. So for a progress update, I was going to post a little video last week and I didn't actually upload it because I didn't like it and I was feeling kind of down. Had that 2.5 week plateau of not drinking. My sugar was down. I was really hitting every facet of the plan of the AFI January, and I felt nothing. I know it takes time, but I was almost it was about a week and a half in, and I hadn't seen any changes, even sleep-wise or anything. So just feeling a little bit discouraged. I've been sticking to it, and I kind of broke through the plateau this weekend. Dropped a little bit of weight, which I know isn't really the most important thing, but that was a little discouraging not to see any progress, but I kind of broke through the plateau, so I'm starting to see some progress. My HRV has gone up. I don't know how much that really matters, but I can feel the difference when it's high versus low, and drinking and sleep definitely plays a part in that. So I did have a long ride on Sunday. It was about -1 when I started, and I think the feels like was -14 or -17, something like that. It was a good training ride. I explored using an insulated hydration hose on my hydration pack to see how that would go. Not great. I purposely didn't, the whole thing, you may or may not know this, but when you use a hydration pack in the winter, it's easy to freeze, so you're supposed to actually blow air back into the tube every time you take a drink so that you're putting your breath into the system to kind of keep the water flowing and keep it from freezing. Stuff I'm training to do is rather technical. Polaroil's coming up in a few weeks, so oftentimes when you're on a mountain bike, winter or otherwise, fat bike in the winter, obviously, mountain bike trails, it's really hard to drink. Hydration hose helps with that because you don't have to reach down while you're one-handed trying to reach down while you're bumping around trying to grab a bottle and take a drink. It's easier to have a hydration hose that you can just pop in your mouth and take a quick drink. Sometimes it's even hard to grab that. And Polaroil, I've struggled in the past with the bite valve freezing. So I would traditionally stick it into my jacket to try and keep it from freezing. The nice thing about the insulated one, it's an Evoc insulated hose. It has a little cover that goes over the bite valve. So I thought, I'm not going to drink at all to start. I'm going to see how long it takes for this hose to freeze and see how well it holds up. And then I also have a Bivo bottle. It's a stainless steel double wall bottle. And that I've used in, 20, 25 degrees, so not super cold. It's worked pretty well so far. So I wanted to test that stuff out and see how it would handle. As I'm talking about this, I realize I should show these things. So maybe I'll do another gear breakdown video. There's another product called the Devil's Kettle from Sodero. It's a handlebar bag, and it's got a magnetic enclosure that seals it, and you can put your Bivo inside, upside down, so it doesn't freeze, and it keeps it insulated inside a bag, so it's like double protection, right? So the hose, I couldn't last. I wanted to test it out. I was about 25 minutes in. The bite valve was fine, but there was a freeze point somewhere in the hose in 25 minutes. So yeah, if you're going to ride in under 10 degrees, I'd say that thing's got to be, you got to drink right away, keep that water flowing, blow air back into it. So I learned that. It was a good gear test. I didn't get to drink any of the water out of my 2 liters that I had on my back for 3 hours, but I set out with that. I want to see how long it lasts. Bivouac was kind of the same thing. I kept it exposed in the air. I didn't put it in the kettle. Kept it right on the bottle cage on the bike, and it worked pretty well. The water didn't freeze. The bite valve, it's a pull up, right? So you have to bite the nozzle, kind of like the Specialized Purist bottles. You pull it open, and then it gravity feeds. So there's a tube in it, and it's gravity fed, and it works pretty well. The bite valve froze about, I want to say, hour and 10 minutes in. I was able to blow, cover my hands around the top of the bottle and blow on it, and able to unfreeze, to thaw it off, and was still able to drink. So far in that test, Bivouac was a win. The insulated hose, I don't know. It's been a struggle. When it's under 5 degrees, drinking water can be really difficult. So I will do a couple more gear outlines coming up. Show you kind of what my setup is and what's working, what's not. Polarol, as you may or may not know, is up in Marquette, Ishpeming area. So the weather can be anything. It can be 24 degrees, it can be 0 degrees, it can be 4 feet of snow as one year, or it can be solid, perfect frozen conditions. So doing these kind of tests in what seems like crazy weather is a really good way to see what your gear's going to do. Just part of it. So that's where I am in progress. That ride taught me a lot about my gear, about my mental strength. The cold isn't that big of a deal, really. It seems like it, but as long as you dress well, it's not that bad. Once you get moving, your body warms up, and you just got to regulate your effort. So I can talk more about the specifics of that later. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I broke through a plateau, started to see some weight loss. Going well. January's going well. I did give myself some leeway this weekend, and it's actually been really good. So during the Packer game, this isn't going to be a football podcast or video or anything, but I am a Packers fan, and I like watching football. And during the second half, I said, I'm going to allow myself a light beer. I had a Kolsch from New Glarus. Was like, this isn't a break, but it wasn't like I need to have a beer. I was like, no, I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to let myself have a little grace here. I'm going on a long ride. And then I did have a beer after the ride as well. So I had 2 beers on Sunday. That was the first alcohol I've had of any kind this month. Then it was fine. Sleep wasn't great on Sunday night, but, I got home at 10 after midnight and went to bed at 1 o'clock. So it's never going to be ideal after that. Your body's all amped up from trying to stay warm in the cold and what have you. But yeah, largely this has been a positive experience once I broke through that initial plateau. We'll see what happens after this month. How to integrate drinking back in without it being too much. I don't really want to quit drinking. I don't think I have a problem. I'm not like, I need beer, I need alcohol. It's just, I enjoy beer. I enjoy a drink now and then. So it's, trying to figure out what the correct balance is with training and whatnot, and how not to affect your sleep and all that. It's all a learning process. So yeah, that's about it for today. If you have any thoughts on the name for my channel, or ideas for the future, or things that I should cover, things that might be helpful for people trying to do hard things, please let me know. Shoot me a comment, subscribe if you want. I'm not really at the point where I'm pushing for, click this button and subscribe and like this video. Obviously that's great. I'd love to see some comments. I'd love to see some feedback. Whether these videos are cool, useful, not cool, boring, whether maybe you're just here because it's me and you're following the journey and you just want to see that I'm sticking to it. Anything, any kind of feedback, just let me know. If something sucks, let me know. I'm not, I don't care. My feelings aren't going to be hurt. I know I'm low production value and just kind of winging it. No script, just, dogs barking in the background. It is what it is. I'm just having fun with this and getting started. So I would love to hear any and all feedback that you have. I'd really appreciate it. So that being said, it's freaking cold today, but it is sunny. So get your vitamin D, get your circadian rhythm working by stepping out into that sunlight for a few minutes, even if it's cold. Get yourself in the sun, because there's going to be periods of 2 weeks where we're not going to have any sun. So enjoy it while it's here. Make the best of the weather and keep doing hard things. Crush it.